Hello, this is Shonk, and welcome to another behind-the-scenes thingy. My nose itches. I already did a behind-the-scenes video on how I do everything as my voice videos in general, and the process is about the same as that, so you can check that out if you want to get the basics on this. I wanted to do a similar video of that, just to outline how I mixed the Is This It But Everything voice specifically. I've got the session here for Hard to Explain, which was the first song I did from the album. Well, it was great to start off with, because, well, not only is the structure of the song basically the same in the first half as it is in the second, but also it's the same tempo throughout. So that made doing this album a whole lot easier than OK Computer, because they weren't playing to a click track, unlike the Strokes. I mean the gentle rubs had the bass. So this time around, I processed these a bit differently and added this tube sort of distortion, but more so to shape the frequencies of the sound. So I boosted the lower sounds in the mid to try and make the bass more audible in the final mix. That is from the pedal board effect. Just there, Ants Pedals, Logic Pro, etc. Then had the rhythm guitar part for this song. Let's just play a snippet of that. Same tube effect, just with different frequency settings. I would like record one note in the channel, then a second note on a different channel, then mix those together, and then record other notes depending on how many notes are in the chord, and mix those together in this channel as well, as opposed to recording each note individually in a different channel. So I feel like mixing it together made it a little bit more crunchy, though not to the extreme amount, because this guitar part is more slightly cleaner. I think pretty much every song on Is This It, there's the one guitar part that's a little more clean, and then there's the second guitarist part that is a little more fuzzy, like so. And for the fuzzier one, I got this vintage drive effect instead. So, of course, in the actual album, Julian Casablancas was singing through a little amp. So people, I think, were wondering how I got an amp sound. And well, as you can see, there's just an amp. I think it's called Amp Designer. Yep, Amp Designer. So I just went with that, selected the amp that I thought made the voice sound most similar to how it sounded on the original song, and voila. All obsessed with fame, says we're all the same. Oh, I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. And so, like usual, my process for lead vocal was just to solo that, and generally I'd mute this one while I record, just so I could hear this. I mean, I was pointing at the screen. Yeah, you can't see my fucking hand. So I just hear that, and I'll just sing over the top of it. This one didn't take too many separate tries, I suppose. I am fussy, though I wasn't as fussy with this one as some of the other songs that you'll probably see shortly. Intro of Is This It, the song. In this case, it was just me just going pitch shifted rather than fully sped up, so obviously the original was just. So the bulk of the song was similar to the first one. I got real fussy in this second verse. So that's a combination of 3 different takes. Yep, outro was 2 separate takes. And then the first thing that I did different on this, we've got bass, normal voice. And that's my voice shifted down an octave. So I did a bit of that in the album as well. There's like a mix of regular voice and octave down voice on, I think, Alone Together, New York City Cops. I think Trying Your Luck is like all shifted down maybe. Because yeah, I wanted to get more volume with the deepest notes this time. On the next track, The Modern Age, more different mixing stuff on the drum parts. So first one that I started to muck around with. So that's the same tube burner effect with your frequency shifted around. So instead of that, I thought that sounded better. I started doing the same thing for any cymbal sounds. So yeah, took out a lot of the low end, boost the higher stuff that's more important with cymbal sounds. I guess this sort of gives a combination of compression and distortion, because you know you want crunchy hi-hats and cymbals. That's what I did for the rest of the cymbals on this thingo. Again, with that it almost sounds like I'm fucking singing in the middle of a windy storm. Interestingly, even though the band were playing to a click track on this album, this song does get slower by a few beats per minute during the chorus. The next point, the next evolutionary point in this project was originally the lead vocal had the same amp effect that it had on the first 3 songs and on Hard to Explain, but then later on I heard the original song back again, and I realized that, wait a second, his voice isn't that distorted there. Yeah. So, instead, if distortion is so good, why isn't there a distortion too? Well, I'll be damned. So for the rest of the album, this was the effect that I used on the lead vocal instead. I may have slightly overdone the distortion aspect of it. Maybe the tube burner thing could have been better to sculpt the vocal and add a tiny hint of that fuzz. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. So compare the 2 effects. Oh, mama running out of luck, but like my sister don't give a fuck. Most of the riffs on this album where the notes change fairly rapidly, I was like singing it sort of one note at a time or alternating the notes and then combining different takes together, so just be me like a and then I record you know, and then I combine that, so that's what you get here. And some of the guitar was up an octave. That's the that's 2 octaves actually. It's the here's where I re-recorded the main riff from Someday. So and then yeah, this little sliver was recorded after the fact. So, yeah. I didn't use a pedal board for the snare on this one. When I first posted the Someday video, I remember one of the top comments just said, Minecraft drinking sound. I'm like, what does he mean? I finally realized what people were talking about. The hi-hats. So yeah, that pedal board, it turned into... It's about the same, really, I guess. It's like from sprinkler to Minecraft drinking sound. For some reason, I really struggled with trying to imitate those ride cymbal sounds. Like, it was just... like, doing that for, like, a full measure. It really left me out of breath very quickly, for whatever reason. Like, I tried to do this, like... like, there, you could hear... Yeah, fucking, you get... Okay, if you could load your fucking audio files already, would be lovely, thanks. Save a lot of time. I think the problem is I'd have the session for one song, delete the files that are in it, and then I would save it over as the next song, but for some reason doing that, it stores the files from the previous song in the new session somehow, even though they're not actually appearing in the mix. That's why it takes so long to fucking open. Yep, so that's part of the feedback. Another up an octave shift thingo. So I've pretty much already shown the basic techniques that I use for recording and mixing all this. Well, I hope that was informative for you, because I can't really keep shooting much of this, otherwise my computer's gonna brick itself, I think. See how long that took to fucking load? Jesus, that's why I can't keep recording much of this. But yeah, I'll quickly talk about the future of voice content, like I did in a recent community post. So you might not get the Strokes, but everything is my voice video, at least in the near future, just because I want to familiarize myself with them more. Otherwise, I feel like it might potentially ruin my enjoyment of the songs if I'm learning it in the process of making these videos. But I spitballed a few different suggestions for what I could potentially record with just my voice in the future. And evidently Interpol, Turn on the Bright Lights, is just ahead of Gorillaz. And I'll tell you now, I have looked into recording something from the Interpol album, and I found out that they didn't play to a click track. Fuck! But that might not deter me, so maybe you'll see an Interpol, but everything's my voice sometime, someday, in a million years. I'm definitely going to continue the But Everything's My Voice content in general. That's for sure. You know, it's the evolution of this channel in the last year. It's been wild, to say the very least. Well, thank you, everyone who has joined me in the last year, shown love, everything, and is willing to stick around for what's coming next. I hope that what comes next will be as exciting as what's come in the last year already. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a good life. Yeah.